Hi, committee members. Thank you for having me here tonight. I would echo a very similar statement as to what Mark is making. I was very hopeful and happy to hear how many bills were proposed around students with disabilities. So my name is Nicole Bucka. I'm a 25-year veteran educator and the parent of 2 children with disabilities in Rhode Island public schools. I'm also the vice chair of the East Greenwich School Committee, although I am speaking on my personal behalf. I am here in support of Bill 5332 with amendment, as well as the other 2 bills that I actually admit I didn't recognize, including Rep. Morales's, that are similarly talking about the categorical high-cost special education. And I am in support, very much so, of my representative, Rep. Shanley's 6113, of which I hope that I was a part of the creation. I'm going to take 3 separate letters and try to merge them right now, so I hope that I make sense, but if I don't, please forgive me. I applaud these bills and all of these bills as an acknowledgement that our state education formula currently has no guaranteed funding for students with disabilities beyond their non-disabled peers. Yet Rhode Island is required by federal law to provide educational services for students with disabilities. This begs the question, how do we, Rhode Island, meet this mandate with no guaranteed funding? 47 other states in the United States provide additional weight, mostly multiple weights, in their education funding formula to meet the obligation of educating students with disabilities, while only 4 states, including Rhode Island, do not. Couple this lack of consistent funding and that FAPE, a free and appropriate education, is a federal mandate that is always there. Couple those things with the 4% municipal tax cap, and it's no surprise that outcomes for students with disabilities are the poorest outcomes that we have educationally in this state. The way Rhode Island funds education currently, special education currently, leaves 21,000 children at risk for poor life outcomes and affects every single municipality. Only revising the state funding formula, which Bill 6113 begins to move towards, Rep. Shanley's, to include a weighted student success factor for students with disabilities can begin to solve this problem. I also support the 2 categorical high fund because in addition to that it's a global, it's more expensive to educate these students, and it is a federal requirement, similar to students with low socioeconomic status. In addition to that, as stated by my predecessor here, certain students like my youngest, who has severe autism, nonverbal, and intellectually disabled, he's just more expensive. Orthopedic impairments, very expensive, because we have to make our buildings accessible. So I think that the reason I don't support only the categorical funding increase is that it only affects a small segment of students with disabilities. The other 2 bills, the 2%, 3%, do move the cut point so that more costs are included, which is a good thing, but it's not enough. Many costs associated with students with disabilities will still not meet that threshold. And you in your categorical here today have increased funding for English language learners. That's for all English language learners. So why are some students with disabilities still receiving nothing beyond? Thank you. So I support the 3 bills that move the high cost threshold, and more than anything, Bill 6113 by Rep. Shanley. And I had another one, but it's a 4th, so.